Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
All right. Well,
Go ahead. What's our topic?
apologies for not showing up last week. It was busy and I didn't manage my time well. So Here we are now. And apologies for being late today on today's episode.
Okay.
To the two people that reached out and complained. Sorry. Okay. I would like to begin today's episode by asking you, Jim. This is not an episode about Star Wars, so I don't want you to think it is. But
Okay.
What I want to know is,
Right.
what would you say is the most popular line from the Star Wars franchise?
Wow.
You're going to think too hard about this.
I have not given this thought. Well, I'm thinking of...
What immediately comes to mind?
I don't think that's the one. Hold on. I'm your father, Luke, or something like that.
That's the line I'm talking about.
Okay.
What is the line?
I don't remember the exact line.
Well, what did you just say it was?
I am your father, Luke.
That is incorrect.
Or maybe it's just I am your father.
So here's what happens. People, the most, and I see this all the time on Star Wars, not like at people that are actual Star Wars fans, but like Star Wars related content online, where the saying is, Luke, I am your father. But that's not the line.
Okay.
The actual line is, no, I am your father. I don't know what Luke says before that. And also, I've never actually seen these movies, so I don't really know what's happening. But what he says, the actual line he says is, no, I am your father. Okay?
Okay.
So
that's right, because he says, you killed my father, I think.
Oh.
Right? Something like that.
Prepare to die.
And then he says, no, I know. That should have been the line.
No, okay. So anyway. So, do you know what this is an example of, though?
A movie.
No. What this is an example of, which I'm sure you've heard of this.
Go ahead.
What?
Some memory, something to do with memory.
It's called the Mandela Effect.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of this before.
Yeah.
Can you describe to the people what it is?
It's when you remember something incorrectly. You remember it. I don't know what I know. So that's, I'm sure there's more to it, but basically afterward you think of it a certain way and then you sort of repeat that in your mind and that becomes the memory. The memory is not.
You're making this way too deep.
Go ahead.
You had it right that your memory of something is incorrect. But what makes the Mandela Effect different from just misremembering something is that a large group of people also have this belief for some reason.
Okay.
So it's not just you or me misremembering something.
Right.
It's literally like millions of people.
Everyone
think that the original line was, Luke, I am your father.
More people remember it incorrectly than remember it correctly.
Sure, you could argue that.
Why is it called the Mandela Effect?
I'm so glad you asked that. Well, Jim, it's called the Mandela Effect because...
Is it to do with Nelson Mandela or
it
nothing?
Does. Do you know when Nelson Mandela died?
No, I don't remember that.
Can you give me a decade even?
Was it in the 90s?
That's hilarious. So you are exactly the the target audience for this effect. It doesn't I should actually hold on.
Go ahead.
So you thought so you said the 90s that he died?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just thinking.
So he was, because the whole point is people remember him dying in prison. And this says in the 1980s.
I thought he was out of prison when he died.
But he actually served a 27-year sentence. He was released in 1990.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Homeboy didn't die until 2013.
Wow. I'm thinking the reason people think of that more is because that's the last time he was really in the news, right? So that's the last time kind of they heard anything about him was in the 90s or early 90s.
Maybe.
And then he was kind of like out of the news, so they didn't hear anything about him.
Maybe. Well have a great week, everyone.
Okay, what? What else? What else?
I don't know. I mean, there are other examples of it. Do you remember what the queen in Snow White says to the mirror?
Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all? The fairest one of all.
It is magic mirror. You're right. So you're not a victim of the Mandela effect. A lot of people think it's mirror on the wall. Oh,
yeah. I was going to say I would bet most people say that.
This is a whole list of them, and these are kind of funny. Do you know how to spell Oscar Mayer?
I'm going to guess.
Okay.
Okay, Oscar. I'm going to say Meyer.
That is also correct.
Yes. Yes.
Do you know where New Zealand is in relation to Australia?
Oh, man, this is a tougher one. I'm going to say it's north of Australia. Oh, darn it. Where is it?
There's a community of people who claim to remember New Zealand being northeast, but it's southeast.
I was going to say northeast. That's the funniest part.
Do you know how to spell? See, I feel like my pronunciation with this is going to be give it away, because there's like the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, yeah.
How do you spell that?
Berenstein.
No.
Darn it.
It's AIN.
Wait.
The Berenstain Bears,
Okay.
if you will.
Hold on. How would your pronunciation give that away?
Well, that's why I feel like my brain at the last second was like, don't say stain, then he's going to know. But I feel like everybody pronounced it I mean, I don't know. It's not like there were audiobooks of this.
I've never heard anyone pronounce it like that.
It was just in your, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all.
I say we move New Zealand and change the spelling of Berenstain so it's
Berenstain.
So I'm correct.
One of the most well-known examples of the Mandela Effect is the collective memory of a movie called Shazam that starred the actor/comedian Sinbad in the 1990s. Do you remember this movie?
I vaguely remember it. I never saw the movie.
Do you know why you never saw the movie?
Because it didn't exist.
It doesn't exist,
Okay.
Dad. In fact, no such movie exists, although there was a children's movie called Kazam starring Shaquille O'Neal and some other coincidences that could help to explain how this movie became created or remembered in many people's minds. I know. Isn't that wild? Because I remember the first time, it was like a couple years ago that I first heard about like the Mandela Effect and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like the main example that it gave at the time. And I said what you just said. I was like, I never saw the movie, but like I remember hearing about it. I remember it being a thing. No, you don't. You don't. Your brain is lying to you.
Saying that I never saw the movie doesn't somehow make, No. It's like, well, you're right. You never did see the movie. No one ever saw the movie.
Do you know what Pikachu's tail looks like?
Isn't it just, does he have a tail?
What color? Yes, he does. Which color is his tail?
I think it's yellow and brown.
That's incorrect. See, this is how people remember it. It's all just yellow.
Okay.
But people remember having a dark tip at the end.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know. And for why? Because some of these, like, I think what you said about Nelson Mandela was a really good point. Once he maybe was released from prison, you didn't hear about him as much. Right. So it was like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Right. Yeah. If you don't hear about someone, just assume they're dead. Hope everyone from high school is doing okay. So I don't know.
They're all dead.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know what these other things, though, what the reasoning is, because it's like, why would your brain do that? And not only your brain, but collectively, like as a whole, everyone's brain is doing this.
If I don't hear about people, they're dead to me.
Do you remember which color Mickey Mouse's suspenders are?
Okay, now this has to be like, all right, my initial thought is red, but it's probably not correct. They're probably black.
It was actually a trick question. He doesn't wear suspenders.
Okay.
That one was a trick question. I think they're red, probably. I don't know. It doesn't say here. Everyone thinks he wears suspenders, but he does not wear suspenders. He just has like the shorts. There's nothing holding him up.
I wonder if older Mickey Mouse cartoons. If you
Nope,
would.
I'm looking at a picture of Steamboat Willie right now. Just shorts.
Jeez.
Nothing. Not a thing holding them up. You know
That explains why he has no pants in some of them.
Do you know where the line, "You like me, you really like me," comes from? It was 1985.
Was it from the Oscars?
It was from the Oscars. Good for you. It was Sally Fields. She won an Oscar, but that wasn't the line. Do you know what she actually said?
No. What did
She said,
actually say?
"I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me." So then this says, children of the 90s probably owe this false memory to Jim Carrey's parody of the line in his film The Mask, when his character utters the line, "You love me, you really love me."
That's funny.
I feel like anytime I go down a rabbit hole like this because this is randomly stuff about the the Mandela Effect will pop up on my feed somewhere. And I go down this little rabbit hole where it's like new things that I'm like, I know the answer to this one. And you don't know the answer. And it has me questioning everything I thought I knew about life. Do you know how to spell Looney Tunes?
Okay, let me try. No.
I will. Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to guess it. This is like LOONEY. TUNES.
That is correct. But this one I think also kind of makes sense because you think it's like a cartoon. So tunes, like TOONS.
That crossed my mind. That's and also even the loony part, I was thinking, wait, is there an E in there or not? But
And what would you say is your preferred type of peanut butter?
Jif.
Are you sure about that?
JIF.
That is what it is. People think it's Jiffy.
Oh, no, that one I don't get because they're mixing it up with Skippy peanut butter.
No, well, I don't know. This has Jiffy Lube and Jiffy's Popcorn as examples.
When I was a kid, right, like we used to always get Skippy peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I can't remember when, I had Jif. And it's like...
Changed your life?
It's just better.
It's just
better. If I'm just saying, now message from our sponsor. Jiffy peanut butter.
Okay. What do you remember about Curious George's tale?
I remember nothing about... It's like a pig's tail. I'll make it up.
I was going to say, do you want to know why you don't remember anything about his
tail?
He doesn't have one.
Okay. Well, that even... Do monkeys... Yeah, monkeys normally have tails.
Well, it depends. Not all types of... There's some type of...
Apes don't have tails.
Monkey, or maybe it's apes. I don't know. There are a bunch of differences between them. Or among them, I guess. Not because we're talking about a lot of them. What about the Fruit of the Loom logo? Can you describe it?
I'm going to say there are grapes. There's an apple. Wow, the next...
Okay, there's fruit. What else is there?
A loom. Hold on. Cotton.
You're literally never going to say this word.
Give me a hint.
No, I'm just going to say it. People remember there being a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom. Oh, here, I could just show it.
I forgot that. No, you can't show me because you can't show people. Yeah, okay. There's no.
There's not.
There's not that.
Well, obviously we know that now.
But people remember it as as there being a cornucopia?
Yes.
But
I remembered it as there being a cornucopia.
So what else is on there?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Oh, there's the bully cat.
What else? You can't. What else is on
Mr. Tux.
there?
What?
What else is...
I don't remember. That wasn't even the point.
No, you have the picture in front of you.
Do you know where Play It Again, Sam?
No, you can't skip past this. People want to know what else is on there.
They could not care less about... People have already tuned out. Lettuce, grapes.
Hold on. Let me see that picture.
No, it's not lettuce.
Okay.
Maybe it is lettuce. I don't know. Grapes. What are those?
It's not called vegetables of the loom.
Well, what would you describe that
I see it.
as?
Let me see.
No,
Bring it-
don't.
let me
No,
see.
I will not.
I'm gonna look it up on my phone then.
Like,
Maybe
what?
it's-
Those are just green grapes
Okay.
and purple
So you have
grapes. I
purple
don't know what
grapes,
the
green
orange
grapes.
things are.
It might be
Goji
little
berries.
tangerines. Little,
Great. Do you feel better now?
I don't know. I still
Okay.
don't know everything that's on there.
Where does the line "Play it again, Sam" come from?
Some old movie. I don't know. What movie? What's
It's
it
from
from?
Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
Except it's
okay.
not, because that's not the line.
You can't.
Do you know what the line is? I've never seen Casablanca.
No,
It's not "Play
I've
it
never,
again,
I've
Sam."
I've never watched the movie either. I've seen parts of
It's
it, but
"Play it once, Sam." I've never seen
wow,
it,
that
so
sounds
I can't.
so.
I know. I think it sounds weird though, because people, I mean, it's the same thing with grammar that I complain about.
Mhm.
Things are just accepted now in the today's vernacular because people say things so incorrectly. It's like, well, whatever. If you're going to say it wrong, just let it go. We'll all just say it wrong and it'll be fine.
Seriously, I could care less.
I hate this. Okay.
I couldn't care less.
What was Mr. Rogers' famous line?
His famous line? Did he have multiple famous lines?
Probably. What is the opening line of the song that opened every episode of his show?
I'm thinking because I can't remember.
I'll wait.
Hold
I and the listeners
on. This
are
will
waiting
turn
with
this
bated
episode
breath.
into a 2-hour episode. Hold on. Something to do with your special. No, I'm mixing this up. It's your special.
It's a beautiful day.
Oh, in the neighborhood. Yeah. What?
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
Oh, beautiful day in this neighborhood. Yeah, that's right.
I know it's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't even tell you how many times I've said it's a
This
beautiful
makes
day
so
in the
much more
neighborhood.
sense to me now.
Why?
Well, I'm not in his neighborhood. It's not a beautiful day in
Not a
my
beau-
neighborhood.
it's
My
a-
neighborhood, the days are horrible in my neighborhood.
I think it's nice today in this neighborhood.
No. It's a terrible, horrible day.
It's a beautiful day in this Okay.
I want to
What
move
do
to
you
Mr.
remember?
Rogers' neighborhood.
What do you remember about Mr. Monopoly's monocle?
He doesn't have one.
That
Mr.
is
Peanut.
correct. Do you know Mr. Monopoly's name? His real name?
Something bucks, isn't it? Something.
No.
Go ahead. What is
It's
it?
Rich Uncle Pennybags.
Oh, Pennybags. There you go.
I
have a bag of nickels.
Brother.
I have a bag of nickels.
Okay.
I inherited it. $200 worth of nickels.
Ooh, see, this is interesting. So okay.
Did I ever tell you, Samantha, that I have a bag of nickels?
No. Explanations for the Mandela Effect. False memories.
Isn't that just saying what the Mandela Effect is again?
Well, it's just using the example. Yeah, it is. So the example it's using here is Alexander Hamilton. When you think of him as being a founding father of the United States, but he was not a president, right? But when asked about presidents, a lot of people might initially think him or even say him. You know what I mean? Like he's the point that they're trying to make here is in the neuroscience explanation of it, the memory for Hamilton is encoded in an area of the brain where memories for the presidents are stored.
Mhm.
It's all just
And it
like in the
gets
same
mixed
area.
together.
So when you think of Hamilton or the presidents, you think of both of them.
So which
you know?
president was he?
Okay. The means by which memory traces are stored is called the engram, maybe? So when people try to recall Hamilton, this sets off the neurons in close connection to each other, bringing with it the memory of the presidents.
Wow.
So the whole way this ties in is when memories are recalled, rather than remembered perfectly, they are influenced to the point that they can eventually become incorrect. In this way, memory is unreliable and not infallible.
Does it mention anything there about him being the first president of Canada?
No. So another thing is confabulation. Do you know what this is?
When you mix things together.
It involves your brain filling in gaps that are missing in your memories to make more sense of them. I've heard of this, but I didn't know that this was the word for it. It's not lying, but rather remembering details that never happened. Confabulation tends to increase with age.
So you're trying to fill in the gaps.
Yes.
That kind of makes sense.
I mean, it makes
That's
a lot
almost
of
like
sense.
when there's a witness to a crime and you have to describe the suspect, and they, that's kind of what the artist does, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ask like, what does the nose, what do the eyes look like? What did this? And they wind up, and then the person's like, yeah, that looks like them.
It also makes you wonder in those kinds of scenarios with like, eyewitnesses to events and stuff, in situations where later they come out and they say, wait, I remembered more about this.
Right.
Did they actually?
Right.
Or is it
a
just
real
their
memory?
brain creating a memory for
I was thinking
them?
about, I know what made me think about this the other day. I think because I was watching one of these crime shows and they had the drawing, and I was thinking to myself, man, if I ever witnessed a crime and they asked me like to describe the suspect, I feel like I would be horrible at that.
You would.
I feel like it's like I have a photographic memory, but the camera has a broken lens or something. It's way out of focus, way out of focus. It's like I think it was a person and they may have had dark hair, probably a guy, and somewhere between 3 feet and 7 feet tall. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, that's it. I would be bad. I would be bad at that. I would be good at a lot of things, many things, most things, in fact, almost everything. But that's the one thing I wouldn't be good at.
Another example, misleading post-event information. Information that you learn after an event can change your memory of an event. Oh, see? This includes event subtle information and helps to explain why eyewitness testimony can be unreliable.
See?
Okay, another one. Priming describes the factors leading up to an event that affects our perception of it, also called suggestibility. Priming is the difference between asking how short a person is versus how tall a person is. Priming is like because priming is along the same lines of like leading questions in a courtroom and stuff like that. Or if you're a journalist, and asking leading questions. It is, if you want to get wrong information, it is the quickest way to do that. I hate priming because it's like, where you want to go, like where you want the answer to end up.
Right.
And you just need to figure out how to ask the question in a way. So you can argue that like, you need to be smart to do stuff like that. But I also think it's like it's morally reprehensible.
Right.
Is how I feel about
it. And I think there's a difference between, like, if you say, okay, let's say you're questioning someone because they saw a suspect. And, it was a guy. And your next question is, okay, how tall was he? That's not, I don't, like, if you were to say, how short was he? That's more leading.
No, why wouldn't you just say?
No, I know it's better. What would you estimate his height at? Right. But I think it's kind of like a standard thing for somebody to say, how tall, so it's not quite on the same level. That's all I'm saying.
It's not on the same level, but again, I think it's one of those things that we're just so used to saying, because if someone says to me, like, how tall was he? The first thing that comes to my mind is like a taller person. Whereas if someone were to say, what was his height? In my mind, I'm already thinking of like a 5'8" person, as opposed to if someone says, how tall was he? I'm already thinking about like a 6-foot person and starting from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah.
So
they have to think about it and ask the questions.
Yes. The final theory for this, alternate realities. Oh, one theory for the basis for the Mandela Effect originates from quantum physics and relates to the idea that rather than one timeline of events, alternate realities or universes may be taking place and mixing with our timeline. In theory, this would result in groups of people having the same memories because the timeline has been altered as we shift between these different realities.
That's really weird because then Nelson Mandela did die in the 90s.
In an alternate reality.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
Crazy.
So what if it sort of works in reverse? What if when a large group of people have a certain memory due to the Mandela effect, it alters what happened in the alternate universe?
That's not how that worked, though.
I don't.
Everybody let us know if you have heard of this before and if you have any examples of the Mandela effect. An issue is a lot of the examples that people give are from like logos and things that I'm
Mhm.
not going to sit here and
Mhm.
ask you to describe. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like the Fruit of the Loom thing and all that. But if you guys have good examples, let us know.
Or if they spend any time in one of the alternate universes, that would be
Yes,
that'd be
thrilling.
really interesting.
That would be thrilling. We all know what time it is.
Listener feedback, yeah.
Listener feedback, yeah. Okay,
Oh, I
moving
thought it
on to
was-
listener feedback.
I
Oh,
thought
no,
it
you're
was-
right. We'll do listener feedback first.
Okay. So we didn't all
This
know what
is
time
my...
it was. Only one of us.
You're right. This is my podcast. I do what I want here. This was a comment that we received at some point. I actually fully agree with Jim on the Eagles fans thing. There are little montages of some of the stuff that did happen on Sunday night, even though we didn't witness any of it, and it's wild. I don't blame people in the comments saying how much we suck when that's what's in the spotlight. And I think, like he said, we as true Eagles fans need to condemn that behavior, or else it just looks like we have no problem with it, which just makes us look worse as a fan base. I also don't think there's any reason to assume that the troublemakers are just random non-Eagle fan college kids. I mean, it's possible that many of them are, but we have no idea how true or false that actually is. In reality, there are a ton of things that absolutely suck about Philly, and there are definitely a bunch of people here who are just trashy, immoral, etc. I wish that weren't the case because Philly would be so much better without them, but it's sort of ingrained in the culture at this point, so it is what it is. That person feels very, very strongly. And then someone also commented, I agree. We need to publicly shame these people. Like, grow up, seriously.
Yes. You know, you talk about like things with cancel culture and all that kind of stuff. That's what needs to be like. Those
feel
people
like
need to be canceled.
they did fine,
not to the point
though.
of not to the point of like, okay, well, they have to lose their jobs or whatever. But still, it shouldn't be something. It shouldn't be something that people do and like they're proud of. It's like it should be something that people do and then they're ashamed and they don't. Next time they think of doing something stupid, they don't do it.
Okay, but also I feel like that was before the parade that happened. Go Birds. After the Eagles won and all that.
Yeah.
The parade was fine.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing crazy happened.
Well, no.
They were fine.
And
Saquon pulling the equipment guy out of the...
Yeah.
You've seen that video?
Yeah.
Out of the crowd, recognizing him and pulling him. That was great.
I mean,
What a moment.
The bad things that happen, though, the whole point is they happen with any fan base, and it's just that it's like amplified for the Philadelphia teams, and especially the Eagles, I think. And that's the whole reason I think we need to call those people out, is just to make it clear that, no, this isn't who Eagles fans are. We don't want people to think it's okay.
Or it is, though. Is that just who Eagles fans are? Moving
and everyone
on.
else is, yeah.
Someone commented, obviously devastated that the podcast is going down to once per week. So I guess these greedy producers don't care about the magical experience that us little people have. They just want their precious time back to themselves. It's disgusting.
Well, and as punishment for that comment, we didn't have any episode last week.
Yes, exactly. We saw that and it made us angry. So
we hope you've learned your lesson.
It's a lot, guys. Doing a podcast is a lot of work. A lot of work that Jim wouldn't know about because his involvement ends after we're finished recording.
Right. This is not to blame you for this.
You can't blame me.
No, you just have much more going on now. So you don't.
I have a life.
So you don't have
see.
time. Yeah, I still, since I have no life, have plenty of time for this. So yeah.
Okay, we have wait. Hold on. I have to click on the YouTube videos to see what this person was talking about.
We haven't discussed.
Those are college kids that just want to be like a part of the action.
Well, they're jerky kids.
Okay, and so my point is every city has that, and I'm not saying, every city is putting on... I don't know where at what point that was supposed to end, but this person commented, it's funny that we were just talking about this. This person commented on the video and said that time stamp specifically giving me pomegranate lady vibes. What is that?
I don't know.
Now I have to look it up.
I don't know.
Pomegranate How do you spell pomegranate? Lady.
Pomegranate.
No pomegranate? What is
P-O-M-E
happening?
Granite.
Pomegranate lady. What? The pomegranate lady and her sons. I don't know what this is. That's a book. I feel like maybe this is
There's no video that you can play so we could hear the
no.
audio
It just brought up like a book. Maybe I just don't understand what that is.
Well, everyone can look this up.
And the next one. Where is this? Hold on. I have to go to the timestamp.
To say it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just say it.
So you should have your own podcast where you can just literally say whatever you want.
Say horrible things.
Oh, so you admit they're horrible. I see.
No, because people are too.
The both things can't be true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because this did I read this comment already? No, I didn't.
What's the comment?
I can confirm that this is why I'm here. I definitely no. I feel like maybe I just read this to you. Did I read this comment already? Samantha is also funny, but I am counting on Jim to make me spit my drink. But
you no, because then you get mad at me.
I just listen. Hold on. I just listen while I hold a drink to my mouth, ready to just unexpectedly it all over the place. Ready to unexpectedly do something makes no sense. I know.
I felt bad the other day because I can't remember what we were talking about.
Neither can I.
And I did say something, and I knew it was funny at the time.
Okay.
But Nana had just taken a drink of prune juice, and
why you got to call her out like that for
laughed.
drinking prune juice? Leave her alone.
Well, because it's relevant. Because
it could have just been a drink.
She laughed and had prune juice then in her nose, and it like burned. She literally was in tears because it was burning so bad. And then I felt guilty.
And you're right. I have never
Just
made
a
somebody
little bit
spit their
guilty.
drink ever.
No, you made me spit my drink.
Multiple times.
What was I drinking at the time?
Probably prune juice.
No, I don't. I can't drink prune juice.
I think you all know what time it is.
I can't drink prune juice. Do you know why?
This week in history.
This weekend.
Do you know why I can't drink prune juice?
Fine, let's move on to the airing of grievances so I can complain about this. Go ahead.
Because I take warfarin.
Great. This week in history. Well, last week / this week in history. We're going to be doing it all. 1978, grave robbers steal Charlie Chaplin's body. What?
When did that happen?
1978.
Wow.
They had apparently stolen Chaplin's body in an attempt to solve their financial difficulties. They were convicted of grave robbing and attempted extortion. I don't know.
I mean, we've all had financial difficulties at one point or another in our lives. Few of us have thought robbing someone's grave would solve the problem.
That's usually my first thought, so I don't understand what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. Just yesterday again, I like these crime shows, right? I don't know, the idea of people getting killed just exciting to me.
Really gets you going.
No, but here's the thing. When I watch these shows and they have these people who are killers and they talk about what they plan to do and all this, I'm thinking to myself, like, how does someone get to that point where it's like, yeah, I hate this person for this reason or that person, so I'm going to kill him, and then plan it and then do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is that kind of a person, right? That like, it's kind of like the same. How's somebody that messed up? I guess is my point. You could be pretty messed up and still not plan on killing somebody or robbing a grave. I mean, if there was money in the grave, then I would rob the grave. Like King Tut's tomb, that would be the grave. That would have been the grave to rob because you could take the money. Why do you have that intermediary step where now you rob the grave, now you have Charlie Chaplin, who are you going to sell him to? Like, what? You can't list it on eBay. I mean, okay. I don't get that.
In 1821, Thomas L. Jennings becomes the first African-American man to be awarded a patent.
1821?
It was for a process he termed dry scouring, one of the early versions of modern-day dry cleaning processes. That's
cool.
Exciting. In 1918, first case of the Spanish flu is reported. Yikes.
Was the Spanish flu worse than COVID as a pandemic?
Spanish flu is considered the worst disease pandemic in history. killing more people than the 2 world wars combined.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
The outbreak officially began in Haskell County, located in southwest Kansas, in January 1918. The disease's rampage lasted only 15 months in the United States, ending with the deaths of over 670,000, but close to 100 million people worldwide, scientists estimate. That's insane.
Wonder if it was created in China.
Okay. 1770, Boston Massacre takes place. We all know what happened there.
But, I mean, I've heard of the Boston Massacre, but I don't remember.
You really don't know?
No.
Okay. A mob of people opposed to the British Army's occupation of the city began throwing snowballs and rocks at the lone British sentinel guarding the customs house. Fearing for his life, the soldier called for help, and a corporal and 7 British soldiers came to his aid. The soldiers drew their muskets and fixed their bayonets. The angry mob dared the soldiers to fire. That's when Private Hugh Montgomery slipped and fell, discharging his musket into the taunting crowd. Moments later, other British soldiers began firing. When the smoke had cleared, 5 colonists were dead or dying. The British soldiers were put on trial. John Adams and Josiah Quincy Jr. defended the colonists. A jury later found 2 of the British soldiers guilty of manslaughter. They were branded on the thumb and released.
What does that mean?
Came branded?
I mean, I know what branded means, but that's weird. So they
was
just
their punishment.
So it's like we're going to burn your finger as punishment.
I guess.
Okay.
So that they would always be known that they killed someone. I don't.
This is a rough one. I don't know whose side I'm on in this case.
But
no, what I'm saying is, so you're throwing snowballs and stuff at a guy. So you're starting. So the violence was started on the colonist side.
It's a snowball.
Okay. Was it a wet snow or a dry?
It also said
snow?
Rocks.
And rocks. Okay. So, okay. So here's the thing. So it even said in there that a private fell and accidentally discharged his musket. I mean, hasn't that happened to all of us at one time or another? So when the other, the other soldiers probably thought they were being fired upon. It became kind of like a out of control. And it just seems like, it seems like the colonists put themselves in a situation where there's a chance for violence. So it's kind of like,
in the words of my favorite actor, Nicolas Cage, via the Declaration of Independence, via National Treasure. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. Moving on.
Okay.
I rest my case. No further questions.
Okay.
1902, Real Madrid Football Club is founded. That's thrilling. 1777, 5 letters passed between Abigail and John Adams. Why is this big news?
When was it?
1777.
Yeah, why is it? If it was 1775, maybe it would be more.
The remarkable correspondence between Abigail and John Adams, numbering 1,160 letters in total, covered topics ranging from politics and military strategy to household economy and family health.
That many letters?
Their mutual respect and adoration served as evidence that even in an age when women were unable to vote, there were nonetheless marriages in which wives and husbands were true intellectual and emotional equals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In the second letter John drafted to Abigail on March 7th, he declared that Philadelphia had lost its vibrancy during Congress's removal to Baltimore and described loyalists as sordid scoundrels.
And this was in 1777.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the weird thing is, though, 1777 was a pretty slow year then.
I guess. Moving on. 1913, International Women's Day is observed. That's very early for that, isn't it? To bring attention to the situation of women in the workplace. However, the observation was moved to commemorate the events of March 8, 1857, when female garment workers in New York City staged a protest over working conditions and pay.
I saw a video the other day that's related to this, where this woman was saying, I want to stay home. I want to have a family, but I can't, right? And she was, I mean, it was pretty good. It was interesting. It was a pretty interesting thing. And she said, how is this progress that now, the only way that basically if two people are married, two people are together, that they both have to work. They just can't afford for one of them to stay home and raise a family. It always seems weird to me that people have to work, right? And then they have to pay childcare to watch their children. It's like, it shouldn't be like that. It doesn't make any sense.
In 1862, USS Monitor battles CSS Virginia, one of the most famous naval battles in American history, fought near the harbor of Hampton Roads, Virginia. In the 4-hour battle, the Virginia and the Monitor exchanged fire, but the battle ended in a stalemate. Both sides claimed victory for the battle. That's kind of funny.
I guess that's it.
In 1969, James Earl Ray pleads guilty to Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. Do you have anything to say about that?
No.
The judge sentenced him to 99 years in prison.
That's really weird. Why 99?
I don't. Can you turn your chair
why
back
can't
around?
they just make it a life sentence?
Turn your chair back around. 1942, General Douglas MacArthur leaves the Philippines.
I think these are not interesting.
If you say so. If you don't think it's interesting, then obviously the viewers aren't going to think it's interesting. It's all about delivery, which you wouldn't understand. Fine, I won't read it.
No,
there's a whole thing here, but I won't read it. It's not interesting.
No, if it's interesting, I'll comment on it.
First of all, that's subjective.
I'm saying I don't have anything to add to
that
it.
are fascinated by this stuff. You were the one that wanted to include a history segment.
I like that. I like this history segment.
Well, obviously not. History includes the boring stuff, too.
I know, but...
1933, FDR gives first fireside chat.
That's a good one.
Subjective.
So he was like... He understood the value of social media, kind of. Or the value of...
He began...
the press? What would you call it?
The first address simply... I want to talk for a few minutes with the people of the United States about banking.
See, he bypassed the media by doing that.
He did.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Which was obviously smart.
In 1781, William Herschel discovers Uranus.
Pronounce it correctly.
That is the correct pronunciation.
They changed that, just so you know. Let's be clear. I don't know exactly when it was, but they used to pronounce it Uranus, okay?
And they changed it because of people like you that are laughing right now. Moving on. 1879.
Why can't people just have their fun? Then people start talking about the moons around Uranus.
And all of the other 14-year-old boys that are listening to this right now are cracking up, okay? 1879.
No, it's
Albert
legit.
Einstein is born in Ulm, Germany.
When was he born?
1879.
79.
Crazy. What? I'm reading it. I was reading to see if there was anything interesting.
I know.
1972, Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather opens. A 3-hour epic chronicling the lives of the Corleones, an Italian-American crime family.
I have never seen that movie.
Nor have I.
That's one of those movies I should watch.
I mean, there are like 3 of them, aren't there?
Yeah, but I'm saying you got to obviously start with the first one.
Well, let's do it.
Like, I have no desire to, I've probably seen it at some point or another, but like Jaws 2 or Jaws 3 or whatever, they're, but anyway. And I think the other Godfather movies are supposed to be good too, but I've never seen it.
Well, that's it.
I can add nothing to that.
Okay. That's our episode.
No. We forgot. Isn't there another?
No.
Oh, no. Never mind. That was the last part.
It's the airing of grievances.
Oh.
If you have grievances, and I'm sure you have.
I'm just trying not to put myself in a bad mood.
I don't think I have any.
Because if I complain, it'll be all about you.
I didn't.
And I
don't
want
know
to
if I have any
choose joy
grievances.
today.
I don't think.
You know what?
What?
I saw a video the other day of a man driving his car, and he had like a dash cam and all that stuff, and then he had like his camera on him too, so you could see his reaction. And this car cuts him off in traffic, and it was pretty bad. It could have been like a really bad accident,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy just like, brakes, has no reaction whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
goes on with his day, keeps driving,
Mm-hmm.
and then cuts to like the end of the video where he's like talking to you then, and he says, it's a waste
No.
of time getting angry
Yeah.
when you're driving. Like, don't let
Yeah.
people take your joy from you
Yeah.
in these situations. And I could not disagree more. Okay.
Right. No.
These people
true,
need to be
though.
punished. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true though. That's true. Like for the most part, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, do I get frustrated? Yeah, I get frustrated like everybody would. But these people that are like legit road rage,
Mhm.
or people that, where they, I don't know, somebody passed them and then they chase them and all that crazy stuff. I can't imagine like being like that. Like seriously.
You do make a lot of comments when you're driving, though.
But I don't. I think most times it. Here, I'll put it this way: it depends. It depends.
Mm.
If there's someone like zipping in and out of traffic, like endangering people's lives, that's something.
When you and I, what?
That's something I get mad about.
When you and I go to the Phillies game on Thursday, which is super exciting, we'll be going to a spring training game. When we go, I'm going to secretly record you the entire time.
Well, that's fine. But record what's going on then too, because when people zip in and out of traffic like that and endanger other people's lives, yes, I get mad, right?
Okay, but
because that
then
person literally needs to be punished. But if someone just, I don't know, accidentally does something, like you can tell this person. I don't know. Like
that's subjective too.
No, you can tell if someone's just driving like a jerk, or if somebody's driving a little slower than I want them to drive. Let's say it's someone they're looking for someplace. They're not sure where they're supposed to turn. Okay. I typically will not get violently angry at that person. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. The person, it's the intention.
You admit you get violently angry.
The person just zipping in and out of traffic.
I don't know.
Endangering
I think
I do get violently angry, and sometimes I force them off the road into a fiery wreck. Yes, at times I do.
I think in general, we as a population are much too judgmental, and we need to chill out.
Well, I'm not.
My only complaint, since I won't complain about you because you're fragile.
No.
My only complaint today is that it's still cold in Florida right now.
Everything's relative.
It's March. It's the middle of March. And I had to wear 2 jackets to walk the dogs this morning. For why? For what reason?
Well, the high today is in the upper 70s. The low this morning
I'm going to go to the pool in a couple hours.
In the low 50s. So everything's relative. So people that are up north are not thinking.
That's not what I said. I'm not up north. I'm here, and it's cold here.
Relatively speaking.
Everything's relative. Great. Now I have something else to complain about. First of all, that's my line. I use that all the time. When you're complaining about things, I say, everything's relative. Just remember that. Everything. And you always get mad at me. And now you just want to throw the everything's relative in my face. For what reason?
So your relatives get mad at you.
Great. Have a great week, everyone. I've got friends in low places. Is that the right key? Oh, that was way off. To the oasis.
Okay.
What? We need an outtake anyway.
We're live.
No, we're not. Don't lie.
No outtakes. No outtakes.
I've got friends.
There are no more outtakes.
Everybody.
Everything.
Low places.
We're very limited on content. There are no more outtakes.
You know what's
Everything
so crazy?
What? Go ahead.
What happened? I was driving with someone the other day, and they put that song on, Like if it's actually called I've Got Friends in Low Places or Low Places or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And it starts playing, like the first verse starts playing and he's like, you know this song. I was like, I don't know this song. I don't know what you're talking about, okay?
You never heard that song?
Just the verse. The first verse is playing and I'm like, I have never heard this song before in my life. And he's like, you know this song. Just wait until it gets to the chorus. Like, I do not know this song at all. And then it gets to the chorus and it obviously hits that part and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that part. And he's like, so you know the song? And I'm like, no, I don't know this song though. I could not. If you had played this, you could have given me like 50 guesses.
You know a verse.
No, I don't know the verse. That's what I'm saying. All I know is the I've got friends in low places.
Chorus. You know the chorus.
No, I don't even know the whole chorus. I just know that line, and then I know the to the Oasis part. Okay. That's it.
That
just forget it.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't even know. I'm leaving.